Hey guys, welcome back to Hate It or Love It, and this is episode number 15. You already know the goal is to break the image of tradition
while showing the beauty of walking in wisdom,
bringing it raw and keeping it 100.
With Christ at the center, you're either going to hate it or love it.
And I am your host, Vanessa. This is my co-host,
Clarissa Bell.
And what are we talking about today?
Well, today, first, we're going to be talking about Wakanda Forever.
Wakanda Forever! And we're going to bring awareness to transgender issues.
And we're going to also be talking about why is it that we keep listening to people that continuously lie to us. And I think it's interesting that they all have one thing in common.
What's that?
More money, more money, more money.
All of them.
So let's hit that first clip.
Well, actually, no, we're going to talk about Wakanda Forever.
Hated it.
Listen, first of all, okay?
Can I show the image? This is all I saw when I was watching Wakanda Forever. Like, I couldn't get this image out of my head. All right? Absolute ridiculousness.
And he looked cute, though. His hair was on point.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, so what did you get out of it?
All right, first of all, like, I love the Black Panther. I love comics. I love when they bring it to life, you know, so I was really excited. I was a little, like, hesitant to begin with because I was like, that was never part of the, like, the comic book. It was never a woman. It was always a man. But I was like, I'm woman, hey, girl power. You know, I was about that life, you know. So when I started watching the movie, I liked it. But then I started to just, like, see certain things. And I was just wondering if it was just me. But, like, bro, Princess was like, she was a whole thug. Like, that was the first thing I seen. I was like, oh, okay. And the thing with me, I personally think she's so beautiful.
She's very pretty.
Oh my gosh. And it just like, I felt like it was such an agenda to try to like show like, you know, like a stud princess Wakanda. Like it didn't, I don't know. But then I still rocked with it. But then I realized, where the fuck were the men at?
Yo, where were the men?
Like none of them could be.
I couldn't get over it.
Like none of them could be strong. Like y'all really like just what's the message? Fuck men, like like they don't exist. Like they're not strong. Like why can't we be a unit? Why couldn't it be like the one dude? He had his little stick and his
carrot. He came in there chewing it, and he had like 2 words to say. But
oh, hold on, the thing that pissed me off the most.
What was it?
The Creed guy. I don't know his real name, but the guy who played Creed, you only had him in for one scene. Girl, he's so fine. I'm just saying. That was the other thing that pissed me off too. So I was just like, I didn't like it. I felt like everything was just all girls and there was no man. I think there's one thing to be like girl power, but then there's another thing to just completely disregard men completely. Like, and all the cops were white. Like, that's not even real life.
Yeah, you didn't like that. Yeah.
My cousin's a cop. He's not white.
So for me, the one thing that I found to be interesting is it's very, very sad, but it really kind of, you can see the mentality of blackness wrapped up in this. Okay. And what I mean by that is, first of all, when the dude from the tribe came up, the water dude with the wings.
Yeah.
They're displaying arrogance and ignorance. Arrogance because they're thinking we're the only one that can have this. And it's like, it's right there in your face. And it's showing you that you're not the only one that has vibranium. She's like, mother, it's all over him. The ignorance. There was a scene in it where the female warrior was talking to the queen. And she's like, do you know what this means? This means that everything that we believe, what we were told as children, was a lie. And I'm just like, if that doesn't really like right on the head when it comes to like the whole blackness idea, you know, like we created this. And then there's also the ignorance of true history. You know what I mean? When it comes to the fact that like black people were slave owners and there were white people that were slaves, you know, and then another part of the movie that I thought the irony that they would make an enemy out of somebody that was seeking to be an ally and totally missed the actual enemy. You guys have a common enemy, but you can't get over your pride. So now you're going to start a fight over here. You made a whole problem where they didn't need to be one.
Yeah, but the thing is, he was trying to take out all the humans.
No, he wasn't. He was only asking for the scientists.
That's true.
He asked for the scientist, and then
But she was a black gay lady.
well, we
No,
don't
I'm
know.
just playing. I don't. I'm just
telling
playing.
you.
I'm just playing.
Yo,
I don't know.
Any second, I was expecting a
I thought-
romantic scene
I
between
thought
her and the princess.
yeah, I really
I
did.
was like, where are they going with this?
Right.
Yeah, and
I mean, and they were both pretty. Like that. Like, so I don't want you guys to think that we're like hating. Well, we are a little. Never
No,
mind.
I'm not. I'm just saying.
Well,
how
no,
it
because
is.
some
Yeah.
people love that movie. You know what I mean? Some people really love that movie. Oh, and one thing I did want to say that is so juvenile. The guy had a dad bod, and they try to hide it. Like, y'all could have picked somebody else. They had a dad bod, little wings on his heels. Those wings did like little. What was like pigeon wings? Them wings, like, okay, that was the other thing. I was like,
I don't know.
you liked his body?
No, it's not that. It's just that, the older, the more mature we get, there's certain things that I really don't mind anymore.
I
Like
get it.
when you're a young girl, you think that balding is nasty. You think beards are disgusting.
I mean, in
But-
real life, I date him, right? But I'm just saying it's a movie.
Girl, please, if he rolled up on you, no, you
I know.
be like,
I said yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, give me Creed. Like that's the kind of hero I'm trying to see. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
But anyway, so I didn't like that. I didn't like how it was all women, and they really took it too far. Like, I don't like the way that they're trying to remove the men.
I feel like there's a misconception that there's no strength in femininity, in real femininity. It's like in order for you to be strength, you have to be like masculine, male, like you can be feminine and strong. Like
Absolutely.
look at Wonder Woman. She was feminine and she was strong.
Yeah, very strong.
Yeah, like why did she have to be like, almost thugging it? Like, yeah, you know what I'm saying?
That image itself is skewed.
It's because they don't want to have the man. It's like they want to have them both. It's like you want to make the woman the man and the woman, which is not a realistic thing.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's like just be a woman and be strong. You could do that
Yeah.
without walking like a dude and dressing like a dude.
Yeah. That goes into a whole other subject. I'd love to kind of scratch on it, but let's move on to our next segment.
Which is Pfizer?
No.
Oh, trans issues.
Roll film.
Here we go.
You're so stupid.
Right now, I have osteoporosis, scoliosis, I have a lump in my breast, I have 1-inch vagina. I have made a huge mistake that I cannot take back. I completely miss my sex drive. I miss my penis, and I completely fucked up. Whatever, I sacrificed so much financially.
The problem with me starting it so young was not only that I couldn't consent, I couldn't really fathom the full picture of things. I'll never be able to breastfeed. I'll never have that erogenous sensation in my chest back. I do hate to speak about it, but I'm experiencing sexual dysfunction at the age of 18. That's something that women usually go through when they're in their 40s to 50s. How is I supposed to know?
But it's a penile inversion with scrotal graft. It's quite a brutal surgery. And that has left me with a lot of lifelong complications. What I found is post recovery, I was kind of abandoned by the gender clinic and just kind of left to my own devices.
According to the Affordable Care Act, insurance carriers are mandated to cover medical expenses for trans folks.
More money, more money, more money.
Put down some costs of how much money we think each patient would bring in. And this is only including top surgery. This isn't including any bottom surgery. And it's a lot of money. These surgeries make a lot of money. So female to male chest reconstruction can bring in $40,000.
More money, more money, more money.
A patient just on routine hormone treatment, who I'm only seeing a few times a year, can bring in several $1,000s. That requires a lot of visits and labs.
More money, more money, more money.
It actually makes money for the hospital.
So we really want to base our treatment and to affirm and to support and empower these youth, not to limit their participation in activities and sports, and even limit their ability to get gender affirmation treatment in their state.
that 18-year-old girl, girl, I was glad when the video ended because I was about to start crying. So she started talking about that. There's no reason that we should have allowed this. And this is just one that decided to speak up. How about the ones that are not here today?
Yeah, there's several.
Yeah.
There's several. I was looking at a video where they said that, I think it was in 2000, I don't know the dates, I don't even want to say it, but they said that today we have over 300 gender affirming clinics. And I sent you the image and I'll post it up here. It says the hidden dangers of gender affirming care. 55% of trans women who have bottom surgery are in so much pain they need medical care years later. According to study of dozens of cases, and up to a third are struggling to use the toilet or even have sex. Okay. I just saw a video in Canada. It is so bad that now they're allowing you to kill yourself.
I want to make sure we can protect people and help them live. But what the leftists are doing isn't that. The creation of MAID, they want people to die. These botched surgeries, yeah, they're making people miserable. It's terrifying. Here's the story. Duchess Lois made the announcement in a January 17th tweet, already viewed more than 45,000 times. Quote, I'm accessing MAID as a sterilized First Nations person of Treaty 6, who is also a post-op transsexual woman of 14 years. I qualify for it as someone who is sterilized and who has undergone vaginoplasty, two things that cannot be reversed or relieved. Lois posted a screenshot of the eligible conditions for medical assistance in dying.
Oh, yeah.
So these people that are experiencing this,
Oh, that was for them?
they would just rather say, I would rather end it all. Just kill me medically because I can't deal with this. The body knows how to heal itself. And what you're creating is an open wound. So that's why they're having so many issues with keeping.
Yeah, because your body's
the
like,
wound
wait a
open.
minute, something's
This
not
needs
right
to
here.
close. This
Yeah.
you're hurting. Let me help you.
Yeah.
So it's just naturally doing what the body does.
Yeah.
But the sad part is that when you put a kid on blockers, they're lying to the public for money's sake. And this is just with those that have gone through with the surgery. What about those that were young that started on the pills,
The blockers.
the blockers to stop the puberty? Let's say they end up coming out of it. It was a phase for them. Okay.
Even if it isn't a phase, this is the thing that nobody wants to really talk about. Even if it isn't a phase, you have no sensation and there's so many issues.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you wanted to keep going with it, it's detrimental to your health.
You're not allowing the penis to develop. So let's say that they get on it when they're 12, because this young lady I think she started at 12.
She started young, yeah.
So if they get on at 12 and then they decide to get off, I don't know, at the age of 20, 21, they're always going to have a 12-year-old dick. That will not change.
That's not funny.
And then they said that they have studies in other countries that are showing them that that's not the only thing that stops your development in your puberty, from your lungs, your organs, all of it.
Because puberty is not just about sex.
Mm-hmm.
That's what.
Or your bones not being more,
it just
masculine or whatever.
Yeah, well, everything, it just all comes together at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so sad that they have brainwashed a whole society of people to really negate the fact that we're really stopping people from growing. And I think it's crazy how that lady, Miss Money,
Mm-hmm.
all she was talking about money. But the first thing she said was transphobe.
Mm-hmm.
Make people who actually care look like villains.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we want to talk about this, it's like, oh, you transphobic. We don't even want to talk to you about it. Because that's what they did. They put that so you stop the conversation. You don't go any further and find out, hey, you know what? We really do care.
Yeah.
Like, we don't care what you want to do in the bedroom, but the fact that children are not being allowed to grow. And now at the age of 18, that poor young girl for the rest of her life. And could you imagine like feeling like you were wronged? Honestly.
Yeah. There is a girl. I don't know where she's from. She might be also in Canada, but they're suing hospitals that push this gender affirming thing, and they're winning.
Can they though? Oh, they
No,
can.
no, she's winning.
Oh, good.
She's winning because, I mean, the damage that has been done to her body, and she was a child. I went to you as a therapist, and you affirmed me in something that was not
that's
true.
child abuse.
It is child abuse.
Yeah.
And that's the crazy thing, that you would call me a foe, but you don't think that what you're pushing is not crazy.
Yeah, because, you have to, no matter what your child wants, you have to let them know, hey, you may feel this way and that's okay, but let's grow up. Let's think about these other things. And no parent, and that's a hard thing to do, to try to maneuver those feelings and navigate them. And I think it is laziness and also child abuse to allow them to stay in those feelings and say, you know what? No, you're right. Let's go to the doctors. We're going to get everything taken care of, instead of going to the root of the problem, because there's a root to that feeling. The feeling that you don't, like, I watched the video. It's a funny video, but it kind of like, you could see how that could spiral out of control. These two little girls were talking to their mom, and she goes, Mommy, I want to be a boy. And they're like, I don't even know, maybe 4 and 5, or, you know, like those age.
Yeah.
Mommy, I want to be a boy. I don't want to be a girl anymore. And she goes, well, why you don't want to be a girl? Because you bleed out of your vagina, and I am very, very nervous about that. Do you know what I'm saying? And so she could have been like, oh, well, that's fine. We're going to go ahead and take you to the doctor. Instead of saying, hey, baby, it's not that scary. It may be now, but older you'll understand. Do you know what I mean? That conversation, no parent's actually doing it. And I think that's bad parenting to me. It's just like kids who want to eat candy all day. You know, you don't just be like, well, you know, we're just going to give them candy. You're going to say, no, that's enough.
Yeah. And I think that the argument of we have to give them this because if we don't, then they'll kill themselves.
That's bull.
No, that's emotional manipulation.
But it's bull too.
It is bull, because after they've done it, they've seen that these people, I mean, you see what's happening. You see these testimonies.
But we know that it's all about money for them.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So all these little excuses that they say to be able to push it, they don't really mean it. They don't believe it either.
And that's the sad part, is that they would have the audacity to try to sound like they're the caring and compassionate group when the only thing that they're celebrating is the fact that this is going to bring the hospital money. And then you have the government co-signing it and saying, you know, we don't want to stop, you know, these children from being able to play in sports, but that's not really the end game for them. No. It's really, and we don't want to hinder them from being able to get these gender affirming cares. This is why I will never vote Democrat, because only Democrats are pushing this nonsense. And they're the only ones pushing this.
And the thing is, the fact that they are not willing to do whatever it takes to help them after they do the surgery, that right there should show you. A lot of them don't want to touch the patient after they've done the transition.
Right. And that's the hardest part. Yeah. You know, that you would feed me this bill of lies.
And now you don't want to talk to me.
And
you don't want to touch
right?
Yeah.
You're left to your own devices. Hey, figure it out, dude.
We got the bonus.
Right. What was that? Was that 40,000?
What? You need help?
Yeah.
No. I'm going to have to send you to a specialist somewhere else.
Or we can schedule you for another surgery if you're not pleased with this one. It's like, wait a minute.
We can give you some more pills too.
Right? It's ridiculous. The greed. But to move on to the next thing, why is it that not me, not you, but why is it that many still listen to people that continuously lie to them? So let's roll into the next clip.
In a New York Times profile of Joe Biden's 1988 presidential campaign, the first time he ran for president, he lied to voters, according to the New York Times, quoting aides of Biden's, about having marched in the civil rights movement. This is Biden making this false claim in 1987.
When I marched in the civil rights movement, I did not march with a 12-point program. I marched with tens of thousands of others to change attitudes.
And the New York Times reports, quote, more than once, advisors had gently reminded Mr. Biden of the problem with this formulation. He had not actually marched during the civil rights movement, and more than once, Mr. Biden assured them that he understood, kept telling the story anyway. That is really, really weird.
It is, and the story was a reminder that in that 88 race, he was one of the younger candidates in the race. He was 44 years old. He was the new generation. But, if you haven't read the book of What It Takes about the 1988 campaign, rich chapters of Joe Biden and others, but it does point out a problem, a challenge for Joe Biden. Has he fixed that issue? When he gets very comfortable out on the stump speaking and other things, he has tended to embellish. He has tended to, make things sound slightly rosier than they are. Now, his aides went back to say, look, he was in office marching for the idea of civil rights, but was not actually marching in the streets. But that would not fly as much. But he was supporting civil rights. But I'm saying that in today's
That's not the word marching means.
of Twitter, okay.
I know, you're just telling what they said.
Right,
but
in the age of Twitter today, Instagram, there would be pictures of him not marching. So you cannot get away with that in this moment. So that's his big challenge.
Yeah.
Can he modernize himself, and has he sort of brushed away all those old tendencies he had that ultimately ended to him dropping out before the Iowa caucuses because he plagiarized a speech.
The Lion Joe Biden list. Joe Biden lied about his full academic law school scholarship, also claimed that he was the only one to have a scholarship, claimed that he graduated top of his class. That was true. Won an international moot court competition. Fake news. Graduated with 3 degrees. Never happened. He claimed that his son Beau Biden lost his life in Iraq. Not true. His son died of cancer after being exposed to chemicals in Iraq, if I'm not mistaken. He claimed that he was a civil rights warrior. BS. He's been to Iraq 40 times. Never happened. He lied about his story with Corn Pop. He lied that he was appointed to the Naval Academy. Lied that he was arrested with Nelson Mandela, taking on apartheid. Never happened. Lied that he was a truck driver. That he spoke to the inventor of insulin. Lied that his house burnt down when really there was a small fire in his kitchen. Claimed that he was raised in a Puerto Rican community, when census data shows that where he grew up, there were only ever a couple Puerto Ricans in the entire state. Claimed that he visited the Tree of Life Synagogue. Nope. Claims that he was a full professor at UPenn. It was an honorary position and he never taught a single class. Claimed that his great-grandfather was a coal miner. No, he wasn't. His uncle received a Purple Heart. No, he didn't. Lied about his stats at a congressional baseball game. Claimed he was a football star. Claimed he was shot at overseas. Claimed that he was the first in his family to graduate college. He claimed that at a young age he was arrested at a civil rights protest. Lied about his number of trips to China. Number of meetings with Xi Jinping. And also claimed that a drunk driver killed his family. But from what we know about the story, the other individual involved in that crash, that absolutely terrible tragic crash, was never charged with drunken driving. This guy is a lying machine.
I may be a practicing Catholic. We used to go to 7:30 Mass every morning in high school and then in college before I went to the black church.
You ain't black.
Not a joke. Andy knows this.
Come on, clap your hands, all these people. Tell us to God with a voice of triumph. Take it up. Come on, the power of the Lord is here. Feel it in the atmosphere. Hey, the power of the Lord. Oh, is here.
First of all, I don't know how you can listen to that music and stay still. That's how you know he ain't never been to none of those churches. So I'd be like, I was watching it like, power of the glory. Come on, Joe. Right? He looks so lost and scared at the same time.
Look at all these Negroes.
And he had that little smirk.
Well, I guess I'm here. Joe, where are you at mentally? Where are we? I knew, but the reason why I put this together is because...
And anyway, he more metaphorically. Remember I wanted to say that.
You're right, go ahead.
Yeah. He metaphorically marched, you know? He was in his head like, yeah, I'm marching for them. You know what I mean? Just like he metaphorically got shot in Iraq.
Yeah, the whole list is unbelievable. That's like that one time me and you ran for Congress. You remember that one time we went to the Capitol?
Are these supposed to be lies? Because we went to the Capitol.
We did go to the Capitol, but we're not congresswomen.
Oh, okay.
We were never members of Congress. Not yet.
Yeah, we was in the caucus.
Yeah, we were in the caucus.
Yeah.
I was going to vote on this one.
Metaphorically,
we were there.
We were Congress girls, really.
I was elected.
Yeah.
I was elected.
Yeah.
And so was she.
I was elected.
Yeah,
because the lady, she gave us the tour, so same thing.
Hello.
Right.
Stupid. I know, but the thing that rubs me the wrong way with this is the fact that they're acting like they didn't know he was a compulsive liar.
And it's CNN.
Like they know, and the fact that I hate how it's
Don't
almost
you
like
use that word
with everything. It's like we're going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Oh well, he can embellish. No, he just lies.
Yeah, right.
Okay, there is no embellishing. He
and
just
my boy
lies.
Trump be out here doing the right things,
and then they're the one that flips what he says, and they turn it into a lie. I just don't I don't get it, and I don't like it. You know, the fact that you guys are done with Joe, so now you're ready to move on. When you sold this man as a bill of goods to the American people, knowing exactly what he was. Like, he's been like this since the 80s. My guy had to drop out when he was running for president because he was caught in so many lies. It's like, okay, we caught him in a lie.
Speeches.
You know what I mean? He was like, okay, no, we're done now. No, he's got to, there's no freaking way. He's got to step down.
You see, he was like, we were from Pennsylvania. I figured somebody in the family. Figure somebody was a coal miner. No, Joe.
Not a one.
You can't just figure.
I was a truck driver once. It's like, damn it. And just to do like a slight little plug, this is why I wanted to do Up is Down TV. Because, that's another show that we're doing. So if you ever want to look us up, Up is Down TV. But that's the reason why I wanted to do it, is because regardless of what they do, I see that there's an issue in the hearts of the population, the people.
In general, yeah.
In general, because if we were where we are supposed to be, we would never put up with this. If we are where we're supposed to be mentally, we would never put up with this.
Right, no.
Because they had a standard back then in the 80s when CNN... The hosts of those shows back then, all of them are just like, no, this can't stand.
All of them, right?
You know,
but now
they
they're
were
bought
actually
out,
reporting news and whatnot. But somewhere along the way, money, greed, power, all of it. He was a part of the plan. Majorly.
But when
majorly.
he just opened the floodgates.
I'm telling you,
because when he did what he did. Everything was right. He put it right on the map.
He sure did.
And Trump came in and it was like, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
I didn't put the video in there, but I think I'm going to slip it in of President Trump going to the Davos, the economic forum.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that he went when he was in office. And basically all of them are in there talking about what they're going to do for the planet. And President Trump gets up there and he's like, we're not doing that in America. All this nonsense y'all talking about, that ain't coming here.
But unlike the squish Republicans who have gone, Donald Trump showed up to the World Economic Forum with a clear message for the globalist liberals.
I'm aware that your strong leadership is open to misconceptions and biased interpretations. Therefore, it is so essential for us in the room to listen directly to you.
I'm here today to represent the interests of the American people. The world is witnessing the resurgence of a strong and prosperous America. I'm here to deliver a simple message. There has never been a better time to hire, to build, to invest, and to grow in the United States. Regulation is stealth taxation. The U.S., like many other countries, unelected bureaucrats, and we have, believe me, we have them all over the place, and they've imposed crushing and anti-business and anti-worker regulations on our citizens with no vote, no legislative debate, and no real accountability. In America, those days are over.
He showed up to the World Economic Forum to tell these people that he disagreed with everything that they held dear. That's a beautiful thing.
They probably like, we need we got to get him out of here.
I'm sure from that moment, they were just like, we cannot have this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the part that burns the most, is that these same people that lie to the public are the same ones that convince the public to turn on the one guy that lost money during his presidency, and the only one that was willing to stand up for America. You hate that guy. Why? Because he's racist. I can't. I can't. Anyway, but to move on.
Trump 2020. 4. Trump 2024.
But
wait, let me say that again. Oh, forget it. Go ahead.
So it's really, really sad that we listen, not we, but there are people that listen to these people. And it's like, do you not know? These are the same people. Just think about everything that they told you so far. That they said was a conspiracy theory, and it turns out to be true.
Yo, go look up the conspiracy theories just so you know how many became true.
Yeah.
Go back at what did it say, 2018? What everybody thought was a lie?
Mm-hmm.
Now look at it.
Yeah. Everything from Bobid, which we're going to get into. When you talk about what happened during January 6th, Worst insurrection since Pearl Harbor.
Yo, don't ever say, if anybody, like, I don't even.
Well, Pearl Harbor wasn't an insurrection, but it was the worst thing that ever happened in history.
No, they did correlate the two. I forgot if it was Kamala or somebody.
No, Kamala, they said 9/11.
Even worse, because so many people died. And like, we're talking about the guy, one guy, he had a heart attack. And then that one girl, she was shot by a cop.
Yeah, I actually had a conversation with somebody. It was like, all the people that died on January 6th. I was like, what people? No. Tell me. What people? Because there was only one person that actually died because of what took place on January 6th, and it was a Trump supporter. Who else died?
Shot.
Not only that, but so far 4 officers in a short time frame. All of them committed suicide that were there.
Also tonight, there is tragic news. 2 more law enforcement officers who responded to the January 6th riot have taken their own lives. Washington, D.C. police officer Gunther Hashida was found dead at his home Thursday. He was an 18-year veteran of the force. And just a short time ago, confirmation that one of the Metro Police colleagues of his, Officer Kyle DeFreytag, died by suicide last month. They are now the 3rd and 4th officers who defended the Capitol to do so. Meantime, the Washington Post reports Trump ally, Republican Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin, is pushing the theory the FBI knew more about the planning of the insurrection than the Bureau let on.
Does that make sense to you?
Well, it sounds like they may have known Hillary.
Or they were just cleaning up loose ends. Like, oh, no, wait a minute. They're not on our side and they know. They all got Epsteined.
They all got Epstein.
You know what I mean? All of them. And there's so many things in the story that don't make sense. And the part that irritates me the most about the whole January 6th is the why. Why go through all of this?
I'm mad when they even came back and it was like, this is a year. Like,
no, but really ask yourself, why do you think they needed January 6th?
To have a counter to Black Lives Matter? I don't know. What's the right answer, Clarissa? Give me an A, B, C thing.
What were they fighting for?
For a right to get abortions?
The election.
Oh, the election. That's what I meant.
Now, if you've done something and you don't want anybody to know what you've done.
Oh, yes.
You start a fire somewhere else.
That's
and
true.
You make everybody look at that. The smoke. Follow the smoke. But don't ever look at the fire.
That's true.
So that's the only thing that irritates me about January 6th. It's like, do you not see what they've done?
And you see so many videos of people saying, don't you go in there. That's a setup.
No, but I mean, you're talking about
the same thing.
Ray Epps, they got video. One guy actually on video saying that we have to go into the Capitol. We have to go into the Capitol.
The same guy. He kept
Yeah, everybody in the crowd was like, yo, this is a Fed.
And they started chanting it.
Yeah, and then the FBI didn't even want to answer to whether there were informants in the crowd.
Did any FBI agents or confidential informants actively participate in the events of January 6th? Yes or no?
Sir, I can't answer that.
Did any FBI agents or confidential informants commit crimes of violence on January 6th?
I can't answer that, sir.
Did any FBI agents or FBI informants actively encourage and incite crimes of violence on January 6th?
Sir, I can't answer that.
Ms. Sadburn, who is Ray Epps?
I'm aware of the individual, sir. I don't have the specific background to him.
Ms. Sandburn, was Ray Epps a Fed?
Sir, I cannot answer that question.
Shortly thereafter, the FBI put out a public post seeking information on individuals connected with violent crimes on January 6th. Among those individuals, in the bottom there, is Mr. Epps. The FBI publicly asked for information, offering cash rewards leading to information leading to the arrest. This was posted, and then sometime later, magically, Mr. Epps disappeared from the public posting. According to public records, Mr. Epps has not been charged with anything. No one's explained why a person videoed urging people to go to the Capitol, a person whose conduct was so suspect the crowd believed he was a Fed, would magically disappear from the list of people the FBI was looking at. Ms. Sandburn, a lot of Americans are concerned that the federal government deliberately encouraged illegal and violent conduct on January 6th.
Now we know that informants were there.
Yeah, but the fact is, when the trial was going on, the fact that they didn't want to answer it, like, that should tell people. But I don't really think people watch trials. I don't think they just get spoon-fed and that's it. They don't actually go and get their own food. I don't think anybody watches any trials that actually go on. But, like, their answer was like, we're guilty, but
we're not going to say it.
We can't say we're guilty.
I can't answer that.
So is this man in the video, isn't he part of the FBI?
I can't answer that.
I can't answer that. Not
She can answer anything. And yet you see all of this that has happened. Nancy Pelosi having a camera crew there, actually speaking specifically to the fact of trespassing.
They were ready.
Yeah, they were so ready.
Lights, camera, action.
All day. So it's really sad, because to me, it's not so much as what took place on January 6th as to how the focus has been drifted. Because in 2017, when President Trump won, they wanted to challenge the electoral votes, but they didn't have what they needed in order to do so. With the 2020 election, we had everything we needed to challenge it.
And they brought it down. We had witnesses. We had videos.
Not only that, we had the senator and we had a congressman. And I think I forgot if you have to have like two, but you have to have somebody, a senator, that signs off with you.
And they didn't.
And the Republicans did. That's why when they stood up, like even Republicans, when they announced, we're going forward with this, we got everything we need to challenge the election. The moment that they started, they stopped it. It went down underground. They came up, and guess what? Joe Biden's your president. None of that sounds fishy to you at all? None of that is suspicious. But January 6th.
Don't you find that suspicious?
Yeah, the stupidity of it all.
Don't you find that suspicious? And then you'd have somebody be like, no, it's perfectly normal. They couldn't find information. You guys are so you're still talking about that?
Yeah. No. You got it. Joe Biden got the most votes in presidential history. You got it.
Yo, they had to take the dislike button off of YouTube.
I mean, think of all the things we had to do because of the dislike of this man. Now, this is like, seriously. And this isn't even about not liking him. You just saw that there wasn't any support for that.
To say 80 million votes.
And you can't even get 300 likes?
Bro, 300? Not even.
And the down toot was in the thousands. The ratio was out of this world.
If you have 80 million people who love you, I mean, they said he was the most voted president in the history. And to me, that don't make sense, because I felt like Obama probably was the most voted, because we were all like, oh my God. You know what I mean?
No, it was Trump.
Was it Trump?
Trump is the most voted.
Because I was just thinking because of how he was so popular, but I don't really know. You know what I mean? Was it really Trump? But either way, the point I'm trying to make is how, if he's so popular, does YouTube have to take the dislike button off? And he's getting like minimal views that, you know, a crafting person would get.
And everywhere he goes, you see Trump supporters. Not Biden supporters, but Trump supporters telling him how much they can't stand him. Like everywhere this man goes. Like it's
not only that, his rallies, it was like,
yeah, Kong, because you know they didn't have like people there, so they
and then when it's Trump, it's like
thousands. I think one crowd was like 38,000 people.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, but anyhow, so let's move on into our next clip.
Pfizer received the biggest criminal fine in U.S. history as a part of a $2.3 billion settlement with federal prosecutors for mispromoting medicines and for paying kickbacks to compliant doctors. In the 1990s, they were involved in defective heart valves that led to the deaths of more than 100 people, diabetes medication that resulted in patients dying from acute liver failure.
In 2010, a federal jury found that Pfizer committed racketeering fraud in its marketing of the drug. 2012, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission announced that it had reached a $45 million settlement with Pfizer to resolve charges that its subsidiaries had bribed overseas doctors and other healthcare professionals to increase foreign sales.
Wait for it. Ow! Oh no, it fell again.
She looks like a droopy-eyed, armless child.
What do I do? Ow!
Well, this is not a video I want to make. And it's kind of hard to make because as I'm watching myself, I see what I'm going to say, which is I have been diagnosed with Bell's palsy, which is paralysis on one side of the face. For me, it's this side here, the left, obviously. but I have to say that I would do it again.
I'm acknowledging that a bunch of assholes who've got white lab coats on are suckering a bunch of goofballs with mental issues. Science ain't got nothing to do with it. Dr. Anthony Fauciism is $12 million richer.
More money, more money, more money.
While all of you stupid scumbag Americans have lost your job, lost your income, had a spouse either forced into an experimental injection or you've lost that income, all of these kids who've been kicked out of school, while all of this tragedy is being brought throughout America and all over the world, but I'm only really familiar with this place. I mean, your concentration camps in Australia were hilarious, by the way. While all that's happening, while all of us are suffering, that dude's $12 million richer, and your face all goofed up, sweetheart. Every single doctor that was correct about how COVID was going to play out, every single doctor who warned you about Bell's palsy, every single person who knew what was coming, all silenced. All of them silenced. They lost their jobs, they were denigrated, they were attacked, they lost their positions, their teaching, they were all fired, and they were ostracized. And everybody who's been wrong as hell has been promoted.
This is another theme that has money behind it.
First of all, I am not surprised.
What do you mean?
With the beginning of the video?
Oh, as far as like Pfizer having to pay out the largest.
I'm not surprised. Because isn't that the same one that after 2020 they kind of got off the stock market? Was like,
I don't know, but I know that I had to cut out half of the lawsuits. That is not
all
nowhere near.
Yeah.
Like it ran on and on. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, these are the people that we're like, you know, if you love your neighbor, you'll do it. It's like, wait a minute, they're criminals. They're absolute criminals. And it's really, really sad because you see how this is affecting people, but there's so much more that's happening.
Mm-hmm.
I know that we can't really get into it, but I would just like to say that at my job, we have now installed a defibrillator.
That's sad,
Why?
bro.
What kind of health kit is that? We're not talking about Band-Aids no more. We're not talking about somebody cut their finger. We're talking about starting somebody's heart.
I just talked to a lady today who had all three. And she said she has always been the most healthiest person ever. Where it was like, everybody's like, oh my God, you look so young for your age. And her whole family told her not to. And she's been in and out of the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And she, you know, we just prayed, you know, because I told her God has the final say, you know.
Yeah.
But to think she like now she thought they were crazy. And now she's like, because she's an older woman. She's like in her 50s, almost 60. But one of them ladies that are like fit and all that, you know what I mean? And now she's like, I never had problems. I never had any problems. And now, and she blames it on that. She blames it on that. And the thing I wanted to say about Katie, you seen Katie?
Yeah.
I think she's a robot.
You think she's a robot?
That's a robot. Or her clone. But then the other thing I was going to say about this lady, who her face with the Bell's palsy, she's got to be getting paid. There's no way.
No, I really do believe that there is such a blindness and a darkness in that to where you can genuinely, I'm telling you, I've seen it.
I couldn't.
No,
you mean to tell me I was good and now I'm not? And I'm going to be like, hey, Clarissa, I'm telling you. Or I would be like, I will do it again.
Yeah, it's the deception. It is a deep deception. It is amazing how you've seen that one video with the dude from the KGB when he was talking about how it's a mental warfare to where he said you can literally take somebody to the concentration camps and show them all of the evidence. It would not matter to them at all.
To change the perception of reality of every American to such an extent that despite of the abundance of information, no one is able to come to sensible conclusions in the interests of defending themselves, their families, their community, and their country. It's a great brainwashing process which goes very slow, and it's divided in 4 basic stages. The first one being demoralization. It takes from 15 to 20 years to demoralize a nation. Why that many years? Because this is the minimum number of years which requires to educate one generation of students in the country of your enemy, exposed to the ideology of the enemy. In other words, Marxism-Leninism ideology is being pumped into the soft heads of at least 3 generations of American students without being challenged or counterbalanced by the basic values of Americanism, American patriotism. The result you can see. Most of the people who graduated in the 60s, dropouts or half-baked intellectuals, are now occupying the positions of power in the government, civil service, business, mass media, educational system. You are stuck with them. You cannot get rid of them. They are contaminated. They are programmed to think and react to certain stimuli in a certain pattern. You cannot change their mind, even if you expose them to authentic information, even if you prove that white is white and black is black. You still cannot change the basic perception and the logic of behavior. In other words, these people, the process of demoralization is complete, and exposure to true information does not matter anymore. A person who was demoralized is unable to assess true information. The facts tell nothing to him. Even if I shower him with information, with authentic proof, with documents, with pictures, even if I take him by force to the Soviet Union and show him concentration camp, he will refuse to believe it until he is going to receive a kick in his fat bottom. When a military boot crashes then he will understand, but not before that. That's the tragic of the situation of demoralization. So
they will not break out of what it is that they believe. It's a stronghold.
That's crazy.
I mean, it's spiritual and it's very, very sad, but that's where a lot of people are. I mean, you see it. People are out here living their lives. We could have been doing this, okay? And don't say, oh, well, it's different because we got the vaccines. Well, the only report that I've seen from vaccines so far, none of them have really been positive.
Mr. Borla, can I ask you, when did you know that the vaccines didn't stop transmission? How long did you know that without saying it publicly?
Thank you very much.
I mean, the idea of people, I mean, we talked about this in another segment today about Nancy Pelosi's stock investments. I mean, people who have any kind of policy role, official or unofficial, the way that Bill Gates has. I mean, Bill Gates' sheer wealth puts him in a position to be influential in a policy realm. Wrongly, I would argue, but that is the way the world is operating. And for there not to be more interrogation of his conflict of interest here by the mainstream is deeply disturbing. And for people who have been skeptical of this aspect of Pfizer and the drug development around COVID, and who have been shot down by the mainstream media as kooks, anti-vaxxers and the like, when I frankly think that this issue of pharmaceutical corruption and people pushing various interventions, having an investment in profit, should have been an issue that the left was leading on. Because it's a constructive area of interrogation.
Especially when it comes to policy. We have to be more transparent about the fact that people who are having input in what the government policy is going to be, what's going to be required of people. The Biden administration tried to require people to get this. Shouldn't it be known at least when there are hundreds of millions of dollars of financial interest at stake for the people advising these decisions?
Yes. I mean,
and their tune changes, it follows the money. I think it's fair to say major proponent of mRNA vaccine technology. He was an investor in BioNTech, which developed the mRNA vaccine for Pfizer. We were just doing some digging, and we see that he actually sold a lot of those shares at how much profit was that?
10x. So he invested $55 million in BioNTech back in 2019, and it's now worth north of $550 million.
More money, more money, more money.
So yeah, he certainly has profited a great deal.
Let's follow that trajectory.
And it's crazy to meet people who have the vaccine and they go to the hospital because they got sick and they almost they got really sick. They be like, oh, I'm so glad that I got the vaccine.
Right?
Like, what do you mean?
Or even when they give you the speech where it's like, yeah, they died, but, it could have been worse. Wait
what
a minute.
Is worse?
They're dead. What's worse than death? I don't understand. Well, they died peacefully.
And then there's people who don't put the correlation. Like, and I guess I can see the blind list because there's a lot of people who don't see it. Mm-hmm. Like, it's like they had it and it's like, no, this is something completely different.
Yep.
Like, I had a lady, I told you, right? Mm-hmm. I had a lady go crazy on me. It has nothing to do with the vaccine.
All right, you got it, Mama.
I was like, okay.
Nah, like I told you, I won't go into the name of the school, but I'll just share it with you guys because I've already shared it with her. But there is a school in the area that did a testing on children. They tested their hearts. Now, normally they do a test of at least 300 kids. They did half that. Well, a little more than half. It was like 160 kids. Now, typically or normally, there would be only one kid that was in critical condition with a heart issue. Out of half the kids, 6 of them critical. Over 30 had to go see a specialist. It's like,
oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Football or just sports in general. I don't know what it's called, but this is thing that happens to your heart, and then, like, if you get hit and at the same time that your heart beats, it can like give you a heart attack or something like that, right? And they're falling out on the field. Before 2020, it was 39. All athletes, everywhere. Before 2020,
in every sport.
Now it's over 1,000. And every year it was not. It was like maybe one year was 29, another year is 30, and then the after 2020 it went up over 1,000. And it is crazy that people are like, well, you know, this type of stuff happens all the time. But if it's going up, I mean, that's not even 50%, because 50% would have been 60. But you're talking about over 1,000. Maybe we should look into something.
Maybe. Now, I'm not saying that this scripture actually goes to it, but this is what came into my heart, and I think it can apply. It can apply, but I'm not saying that it's the direct, like, this is what it means. But as I was thinking about it, it's Luke 21, verse 26 through 28. It says, well, I'm not going to read all the way through, but it says, men's hearts failing them from fear. And I thought about what it is that we've done and the side effect of it because of what we feared. We made a decision and we moved as a nation towards something, not knowing anything about it, all out of fear. And now you see all of what's taken place in humanity. And it's not just in America, it's all around the world. Yeah, so.
Like, it's sad that we're dealing with this, but it's sad that not enough people are really caring. It's like they don't care.
Well, I just want to end it with a verse out of Proverbs. As you can see, to me, the theme throughout this entire thing is that you see greed and you see money.
Money.
You see people willing to destroy other people's lives, destroy other people's health. It doesn't matter to them as long as they can get a buck. You know, they're willing to lie to people and put them in a frame of mind to believe something that is not true so that they can get power. But ultimately, it's all about money. Look at what they're doing and how people are struggling just to put food on the table. All for power and money.
And you know what, too? I do want to say that it's not just the people who have gone through, like, the injuries, whether those two things I was saying, but it's also the psychological warfare.
And I think the family also.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah, because everybody's affected. I mean, but it's also the psychological damage for people, like, for them to be so sold to the idea they can't see reality, and then it is costing them pain because they're seeing all these things happening and don't know where it's coming from.
Yeah, I can't get into the details of the story, but I'll just say that the young lady was in her 30s, and the story of what was taking place with her in the hospital, I can't imagine my child having to go through that. I mean, it was just like, it was repeat, just one after the other, back to back, back to back. Well, I can't get into the details. I'm sorry. Because I'm sorry. I just can't. I don't want to.
Why you say anything at all?
Because the point is that.
Repeat back to back hospital. What repeat back to? What was the repeat? Back to back. Sorry, can't get into that.
I can't. But there was something going on with this young lady. And I just can't imagine being her mother holding her hand. And
while repeat back to back is going on.
Yeah, what's happening in her body. I can't imagine having to witness that. Not only is she going through it, but I think that it has got to be traumatizing
seizures
for the parent. So the
surgeries.
The verse that I'm going to be reading. So with all that, it's about money and greed, but it's why do people, not we, I want to put that out there. Why do people?
Yeah, we ain't part of it.
Listening to liars. So in Proverbs 17 verse 4, it says, "Those eager to embrace evil listen to slander, for a liar loves to listen to lies. If you were an honest person and you loved honesty, you would want truth. But for somebody to be like, oh, they're a known liar. Oh, okay. They lied about this. They lied about that. They lied about this. They lied about that. And you still go back to it. There is something about what they're saying that even though it's a lie, you like hearing it. You want to hear the gossip because it goes in line with your line of thinking, which is all wickedness is. Wickedness goes back to the way that you think. So because what they're saying, even though it's a lie, you like it because it satisfies something in you. I hate this person. Tell me more about what they did. Only because you like to listen to lies. Because if you were really somebody that wanted to hear truth, at some point you'd be like, yo, I just don't know if I could trust them. And eventually you would go looking for truth. But that's not what you're interested in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think money and lies go together. All you got to do is lie and get a little bit of money. All we have to do is not tell the truth, and we will go viral.
Yeah. We're going to hold these records for 75 years. Then we'll release them.
Then we'll release them. Not yet, though.
Not yet. Not yet. But we're being totally honest with you guys up front.
Yeah.
You know, transparent. Because, you know, we're looking for the well-being of the American people.
We need to get together. But, I mean, that's always what I always say. I feel like we just really need to get together and have these conversations. Because if you really know the truth. And it's crazy because a lot of people like us, we go around talking, well, you could have closed it off.
Okay. But that concludes our show for today. We thank you for tuning in. What is the goal?
Man, the goal is to break the immature tradition.
Well, show with the beauty of walking in wisdom.
Bringing it raw and keeping it 100.
Put Christ at the center. You either going to hate it or love it.
Sometimes I'm going to hate it because she just cut me off. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Maybe I can't fight. I'll be like one of those people that be like hidden ninja tucking dragon.
I'm sorry, what?
Isn't that something like that?
No.
What is it? Crouching dragon. Crouching dragon, hidden ninja.
Can't stand you sometimes. No.
What is it? Crouching tiger, hidden dragon.
You were close. No.
What I say? Hidden ninja?
Yeah, I can't. We're doing the hate it or love it. Do you know what you're going to say?
Welcome to episode number...
Oh, it's been a minute. 15.
I think so.
Yeah, okay.
I was going to say that.
Episode 15.
Okay, start over?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey guys, welcome back to Hate It or Love It. And you already know that this is episode number 15. His last one was 14. That's why you already know that. Because I was going to go into...
And you already know, then after 15 is 16. And we'll be here.
Can we do it again, please?
It's better than when you do this. I'm like, what is she doing?
Do I do that?
Yeah, you do.
Wow, that's something that you've been wanting to get out your chest.
Whatever. Anyway, while showing the beauty of walking in wisdom.
Welcome back.
Start over.
Hey, guys, you are tuning in to...
Ready.
Hey, girl. I don't know why that came out. I don't know why that came out. He was in office marching for the idea. He was in a metaphorical march.
Before I went to the black church. You ain't black.
What is going on in here?
And I don't know. Yo, not for nothing. I'm going to wait until we come back metaphorically. Did I do it right?
Yeah, I thought we were doing good. Oh, we're still good.
Oh.
Oh.
Is she smiling?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure. Hi, Mr. Val. Yeah, but I always say hi to you.
Wow.
My dad's your dad.
Whatever.
Your dad's my dad.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I forgot where we were before he said that.
You was talking about Katy being a robot.
Yeah, she a robot. Katy Perry, that was a robot. That's her clone.